Hey, what is up, YouTube? Let me get a little comfortable here because you know what? It has been a while. Welcome to my channel. I am Tiffany Epiphany. Of course, if this is your first time here, please go ahead and follow me. Subscribe to the channel, like this video, and share it with somebody. I mean, after of course you watch and you feel like it's shareable, but go ahead and share it with somebody. But please go ahead, like and subscribe to my channel so that, and hit the notification bell, can't forget that, so that you can get notifications when I upload new content. And I know some of the old folks are probably saying, girl, what do you mean get a notification bell to upload content? Because girl, you ain't uploading nothing. And yes, this is true. I have not uploaded anything in a very long time, but I am promising you, y'all, I'm going to do better in the 2026 moving forward. I am definitely going to do better. So today's video is going to be kind of like a catching up, and I think I'm going to do maybe like a part 2, part 3 on this video, because I just don't want to like keep y'all here for a whole hour and a half and go over everything in one sitting. I think it would probably be better if we just digest it slowly, video by video. So yeah, I'm gonna make sure that this is split up. It might be multiple takes, multiple days, so that I can catch all of my all of my old subscribers up, keep them up to date, and also give my new subscribers like kind of like a condensed version of where I left off up until now. So everybody will get an opportunity to be able to catch up on all things me, all things wellness, all things single mom by choice, all things twin mom, and all things autism mom. So that is something that I just kind of want to start out with. So I believe the last time I checked in with y'all, oh gosh, what was going on? I can't remember. That's the thing. I can't remember. I think I may have been of course, I had just had the boys. So I updated everybody on the twins' birth. And I think I may have done a couple of videos about like the formula shortage. There was a formula shortage that was going on. So I was kind of stressed out about that. And then maybe I might have done maybe a video or two, just kind of after bits of time had passed, updates. And so really, I guess I'll just start from the beginning, the middle beginning. So I will start with, I ended up, when I was pregnant, I ended up moving into a home. I was renting out this home. I only rented it for like, I wasn't even in that home for maybe 2 or 3 months. And that was because, yeah, I got to catch y'all up on a lot of stuff. I'm going to actually be going back and then coming forward, well, back before a lot of the other update videos, because I just want to provide some context. But nonetheless, I was living in that home, and come to find out, child, it was the neighborhood in and of itself had mice, rats. I'm gonna clear that up. Mice and rats, or maybe baby rats and rats, but that neighborhood was filled with them. And one of the things that when I was pregnant, I remember noticing was there would be like this noise in the middle of the night. And because I had just recently moved to that home, and this was my first time in a very long time living by myself, and I was pregnant, I thought I was like a little paranoid, because I don't know if you've ever moved somewhere by yourself after having been, living with someone for a very long time. And you just get a little paranoid. And so I remember hearing stuff in the middle of the night, and I just kind of chalked it up to, Tiffany, you just being paranoid. And then the other thing too was, because I was pregnant, I really didn't want to, if something was happening, I did not want to enter into that situation. I am armed. I have that. That I don't know if there are any buzzwords that I should not say on social medias, but you feel me? Pew pew. Okay. So I said to myself, hey, listen, if there is anything going on, it's gonna have to come my way, and I'm very much prepared on that end. So I just kind of, and after like the maybe first or second time that I kept hearing the noises in the middle of the night and nothing happened, I was just like, again, maybe it's me, and then maybe it's something, but at this point, I don't care to look into it to see what it's about. I was very ill during my pregnancy, which was another thing, and so I just really didn't have the energy to to care about it. But fast forward, ended up falling asleep, getting a little bit closer towards the end of my pregnancy. Ended up falling asleep in the living room area because I had a recliner couch, and sleeping in bed was becoming extremely uncomfortable. So I was sleeping on the recliner, and long story short, a rat bust through a cabinet in my kitchen, and oh, wait a minute. No, what happened was I suspected something. Sorry, let me go back. I suspected something was happening. And what I did was I ended up noticing like there was debris in the living room area. And right where the debris was, there was a hole in the steps, like in between the steps, the corner in between the steps and the wall. So this is the wall, this is the steps, and there was a hole there. And so I said, "Oh my God, I think that is where whatever is coming in this house and stirring up things in the middle of the night, that is where it's coming from." So I set like a little decoy there to, hey, if it knocks over, then that means something's coming out of there. But if it stays, then the, that was probably something that I just did not notice was there. So come to find out, yes, something was coming through there because the next morning the little decoy that I set there was knocked over. So I called the people. Um, I'm not even gonna name the company. I'm not even gonna do that. But I would just say it is a very familiar um, housing company, not housing company, but those people that buy up all the houses. It's one of the property management people. It's very very prominent, especially here in Jacksonville. I think there are a lot of other places too, but especially here in Jacksonville. But I called them up to have them come out and inspect. And so what the guy did was he put like a piece of wire or something like that in front of it. So he said, if whatever it is, it chews through that wire, then hey, we got a big problem. So patch that up. Cool. He said, what was next? What? Patched it up. There was something that made me think matter of fact, I went in the cabinets one day and noticed in the top of the cabinet there was a hole. So I told them about that. I don't remember if I told them about that the same time I told them about the hole on the floor, but nonetheless, that was patched up. Matter of fact, it was somebody else. So it was a different guy. So that guy came out. A different guy came out when I told him about the hole. The floor has been patched up. There were no issues. Just so happened to look at the hole. Came back out. He said, well, yeah, it looks like something might be crawling through, because I was still hearing noises. Something might be crawling through there, or it could potentially crawl through there. Let's go ahead and put a trap. I was like, a trap? That means like it's, so what if the trap go off? Like what if it get caught in the trap, then what we do? And he was like, ma'am, listen, you want it called or not? Like you have to call somebody, you have to drag it out, you have to do something. Like this is what I can offer you. So I was like, okay, go ahead. And that particular night, laying on the recliner in the living room, that is when the trap, pow, and it was so loud. And because it's a cabinet that was over the sink, and the damn rat was so big, it snapped and then came out the cabinet into the sink. And so I immediately jumped up because how the house is, the living room was like a den. It was like a built-on den. It was an older home, and they had built a den on the back. I have to go to get to any rooms. I have to go from the den through the kitchen to the front side of the house. And so my automatic thought was, girl, run, like run to your room. I had my phone on me and all that kind of stuff there, but I just wanted to get to like my room and the front door and all that kind of stuff, even though there's a back door where the built on living room is. Baby, when I got to the entryway of that kitchen and I looked over in that sink and I saw the rat had not actually got caught in the trap, but that the trap snapped and like I guess clipped it, and so the rat was free in the sink. I like to lost it. I like to lost it, y'all. I like to lost it. I think it was like maybe 11 o'clock at night, and I called my mama, and I was like, "Mom, it's a rat, girl. I'm scared. I don't know what to do." I Yeah, I called my mama. Long story short, I know I keep saying it, but roll with me. Long story short, my mom ended up calling a classmate of hers who came over to the house and basically caught the rat, beat it, killed it, and got rid of it. From that moment, I said, I am not bringing my children into this world with this kind of problem. Because if it, I suspect it crawled through the stairs, chewed through the stairs, and it found its way up into this patch in the cabinet. I'm pretty sure there's another way it could get in. And God forbid, if something happened to my kids because a rat mouse got a hold of one of them, I ain't even gonna say online what would have happened or what could have happened. But just know. So immediately gave them my 2 weeks notice or whatever notice that I was gonna be moving. I remember that next day, well, 4 hours later, I had some blood work. Or it might have been the next day. But I remember coming outside, the neighbor guy next door, he used to always be flirting with me. And I'm a whole pregnant woman, child. He used to flirt so bad. But he also mowed my lawn for me. So we would always, chat it up. I would try to keep it real, real short with him because he would get real flirtatious out the mouth. And I'd be like, sir, your baby mama come and visit you every other weekend with them children of yours. Go on now. Go on. But we would chat every now and again. And then he would always kind of check up on me. Are you okay? You need anything? No. I don't need nothing. I just need you to make sure this lawn stay mowed. But I was heading out, going to my car, and because I'm pregnant and the condition that I was telling y'all about earlier about how I was really, really sick during my pregnancy is one where I was experiencing really, really bad nausea and vomiting. And of course, my sense of smell is extremely heightened and extremely sensitive. So I can smell any and everything from a mile away, and especially if it's anything that is putrid or spoiled or rotten or in this case, dead. And so I was outside and I was like, what is that smell? You smell that? And he was like, I don't smell nothing. And as I'm walking to my car, I see there's a dead rat in the yard. And I was like, oh my God. Now this being after the guy had done killed the rat the day before. I can't remember if it was like that same day or the day before. But nonetheless, it wasn't shortly after. It was shortly after, sorry. It was shortly after that was in the yard. So I was like, yeah, even more of a reason me to get the hell up out of here. So he was like, I got you. The neighbor was like, I got you. I get it. And that's where I found out that, according to him, the neighborhood was like that. And he said he had dealt with, a situation with them. But he, of course, booby trapped his home, did what he needed to do to protect his home from it. So Where we go from there is that particular appointment that I went to was where they found that I had high blood pressure, my feet was swelling, and then I had to be admitted. So anyway, had got admitted, had the boys. My parents and my sisters, they packed all my stuff up because I was admitted in the hospital. I was there for like a week. Um, had the boys October the 1st, 2022. And when I was discharged to a new home. So in all of this like 2 week transition or whatever, I ended a lease, signed another lease, went into the hospital, had my boys. My parents and my sisters moved me into my new house. So when I finally was discharged, I went to a new house. So we were in that house for a year. We left that house because they were going up on the rent, and I just felt like rent was already high. At the time, I had pets. I was paying pet rent as well, and I found that the house that we were in for that summer, the AC had went out or stopped working like 3 or 4 times during the summer. Now, mind you, now, around this time, so I have like what 8 month olds at this time, six to eight around that time because they were born in October. So the time that it started getting hot was like, of course, in Florida, May, June. So they were like 6 to 8 months old. And I'm like, I cannot have my babies in this house. And it is 89 degrees, 89, 90 degrees. It would get that hot. And each time they would come, they would fix it would cool down, then it would stop working. And one of the guys that came out, he was like, well, with the AC unit being in the garage, it's always going to be prone to running hot or something like that because it's outside in a hot area versus inside. So some people's air handler or whatever it's called, the AC unit, is on the inside of the house in a closet. Well, this one was on the outside, and so I'm just like, oh heck no, y'all can have this because ain't no way I'm gonna have to deal with paying y'all all this money, and then every year I got to deal with calling y'all out 3 or 4 times and being inconvenienced because it's hot as I don't know what. Because each time we would go to my mom's house because it was just too hot. I was not gonna have my babies in this sweltering hot home. Me, I could probably thug it, but not my babies. So we were in that home for a year, October to October. And then after that, I moved in with my mom. And at that time, I said to myself, well, I don't want to rent no more. Renting those homes that year and some change that I did was my first time renting since I graduated college. And so I graduated college, and the second time around, I graduated college in 06, 2006. So I hadn't rented at that time, so this was 22, in like, well, dang, how long is that? Oh my God. Is that 18 years? Jesus. 2006. Yeah, because I went over here. 104, no, oh 08. I graduated in 2008. I knew there was something off about that math, but even still, from 2008 all the way to 2022, which that's 14 years, I had not rented. I hadn't rented. And so I guess I was kind of out of the loop as to how renting worked. It wasn't like before. And I had never, and I'll say this, I had never rented a home. I had always rented apartments. So the way that I thought about renting, was totally different from how it actually is at the time that I was renting that house. And I just felt like it was 0 out of 10. Would not recommend. No stars. I hated it. It's not for me. And so I was like, let me just buy another house. I had bought my first townhome in 2009, 2010. think it was 2010. Yes, because I had that home for 8 years. So I bought my first home in 2010, and then I sold it in 2018, and then that's when I moved in with my dad, and I had been there up until 2022. And I was like, yeah, let me just and I need something. I need something stable for me and my boys. I love the benefits of home ownership. I do not mind, okay, if a little something break down, hey, I'm just gonna have to fix it. I don't mind that because I feel like I'm in control of that. I don't have to wait, 24, 48 business hours for them to receive a notice or if there's an issue, then come out, and I don't have to do all that. I can handle it when I need to handle it, and that be that. So I went on the journey of buying a home. And this space and time in my life, living with my mom and my stepdad, gave me a little bit of reprieve from life. My mom was watching the boys. My mom was like, you ain't sending my grandbabies to daycare. So she was watching the boys. And it actually worked out. It worked out for her. It worked out for myself. She had the comfort of watching her grandbabies, and I had the comfort of knowing they were watched by their grandma. And I also had the comfort of being around family again, which was something that had not happened since living with my dad. And so, and also, I had lived with my mom for like a long time, ever since I graduated undergrad, which was like 04 in 2004. I lived with my mom for maybe like 3 or 4 months after I graduated. And so, yeah, it felt good, gave me a little reprieve. And, but this was also a time, I feel like now that I'm reflecting on it, where I went through so much mentally. I went through so much mentally. Of course, being postpartum, which I did not really recognize at the time. It didn't really, I feel like being at my parents' house gave me the opportunity to relax enough to connect with myself to recognize what was happening. Because that first year I was by myself. I was at our home by myself, and I was just kind of like go mode. Like go mode. The first 3 months, of course, being up all night, sleep deprived, feeding two babies, excuse me, and what I didn't really, what I noticed but didn't really put words to at the time was I was going through a bout of postpartum anxiety, and when I got to my parents' house, that is when I really recognized, oh wow, girl, you are dealing with postpartum anxiety real bad. And so in that point in time, the boys, they were growing, they were coming into themselves, and they started having, one of the things that I wanted to note is that they started having that kind of exacerbated, if you will, my postpartum anxiety, is they started having ear infections. And so, I would pick my baby up, and either one of them, and they would be like blazing hot, blazing hot. Temperatures 102, 103. I would run, take them to the ER, ear infection, and it was like they would play hot potato with each other with the ear infection. So once I would get one stabilized on meds in the clear, the next one would pop up with an ear infection. So I had that going on. At the same time, because they were preemies, they were in our in Florida. It's called early steps. I don't know what it's called in other states, but that's early intervention for children who are born early or have a disability, things of that nature. And so they were also doing their early steps appointments and visits, which on top of their regular doctor's appointments visits was a lot. Like they had like speech feeding uh, um, appointments, and by the way, one thing I will say is all of these interventions were in the home, but it was still a lot to kind of keep up with and juggle. So they had that. They had physical therapy, PT, speech, physical therapy, OT, occupational therapy, and then later on they had some other services when they started getting a little bit older. But when we started out, we had all these appointments. So I'm shouldering their ear infections in and out of the ERs all the time, all of these appointments, trying to start back my business because I was on maternity leave for those 3 months. The beginning of January 2023, I hit the ground running with my private practice again. And so I'm trying to juggle all of these things. And again, like I said, when I got to my mom's house, that's when I realized, wow, like, yeah, girl, you dealing with some stuff. I remember when before I moved with my mom, I used to have these really bad intrusive thoughts. And I think this could be an opportunity to kind of talk about what postpartum anxiety kind of looks or feels like. Um, and of course, I'm in no way like, even though I am a licensed clinical social worker and a therapist, everybody's experience is different. And I don't want you to go out and try to self diagnose based on what I am sharing. Please, by all means, find you a therapist, find you someone who is a provider that can truly evaluate and clinically diagnose you with that. But nonetheless, now that I done gave my disclaimer, don't use what I say and diagnose yourself. That's what I'm trying to say. But I remember I used to have these intrusive thoughts, these thoughts that would come in my head about like the boys, me dropping one of them, or me as I'm holding them, if I turn a corner, their head hitting the wall. I used to have intrusive thoughts about, and that's probably why they still sleep in my bed to this day, because I would have thoughts about them being in their cribs in their room and somebody coming in their window and snatching them. And I feel like all of these thoughts, while valid, okay, and I know the thoughts are a bit extreme, some of them. So valid, while valid, I feel like they have a root, and that root is my previous loss. So, um, if you're new to the channel and you don't and you haven't had a chance to kind of catch up on all of the videos and stuff like that, um, I had a 20-week loss when I was like 33. I ain't gonna tell y'all how old I am now, but nonetheless, it was some time ago. I did have a loss, and I think losing a child kind of shapes how you experience future losses. And so there's always an anxiety around, is my baby going to live? Is my baby going to be harmed? That kind of thing. And so I think it was rooted in that. I think those intrusive thoughts that I was experiencing was kind of rooted in a previous loss. And I tried my best to really uh, challenge those thoughts and reframe those thoughts so that I could experience a little more ease. But um, they continued, and then with me experiencing them getting these repeat ear infections and stuff like that, I think it just kind of kept me in this limbo of anxiety. And one notable symptom that I experienced, aside from the intrusive thoughts, the one that I feel like was most noticeable to myself and probably others, was my weight gain. I gained so much weight. Um, I was the biggest I had ever been in my life. And I think it was because of the anxiety and the stress that I was experiencing, trying to juggle, being a new mom, being a postpartum mom, still doing work, my nonprofit, just all the things, trying to just acclimate to all of that. And my body just also getting older. I was a geriatric mom. So I was older, and so I'm heading into the realm of perimenopause and all that kind of stuff there. I'm pretty sure all of that had a hand in the weight gain. But I gained probably, I think when I had the boys, I was 170 with maybe like no, I was 170. I was about 170, which for me is a very comfortable weight. Um, when after I had the boys, I want to say mid 2023, I had probably got up to maybe 200. And by the end of 2025, we're in 2026 now, of course. So the end of 2025, I was at 220. And 220 is my highest weight. I'm down now because you know I'm on my get 'em girl. But whatever a get 'em girl is. But anyway, yes, I am on my weight loss journey. We'll talk about that later. But these are all the things that I was experiencing. And I don't think I really realized it like the first year, but definitely when I moved in with my mom, that is when I experienced it. And I was going through the house search, looking for a home and all of that. That was a stressor in and of itself. But thank God he came through. He blessed us. We had the home. We got the home. We got the home that I desired and I prayed for. Everything that I asked for, I got it. So I'm so grateful, thankful. We got a home. And we've been in that home for 2 years now. Woo woo. Um, but in that time, as I'm dealing with all of that, is when and this will tie back to what I was saying earlier in my introduction about being, or talking about all things autism. That is when I found out that both of my children were autistic. And I'll share that in a separate story. That'll be one of my parts. But that news in and of itself was quite devastating, actually. It still is kind of, but I I have learned to not see my children through the lens of their diagnosis. I never have anyway, but it's one thing that, of course, I'm very much aware of, and I have to be. I have to be because that is how I'm going to be able to advocate for my kids and make sure that they have a life that is great and that they are able to reach all milestones and all uh, goals and experience any and everything that they're able to. So that so yes, we'll do another video on that. But fast forward, we got the house and moved in shortly after. And honestly, these past 2 years have been me just kind of acclimating myself to raising my kids, us being in our own home, getting our routine, our schedules down pat, and also just supporting them in their journey of learning and development. They are 3. They're about to be 4. They are very much exciting and rambunctious. I do post them a lot on my Instagram page, my Facebook page. So and they have their own page. And I'll put those in the description box if you all want to follow. But they are the loves of my life. They light up my world. They challenge me. They help me grow. Um, and they bring out the let me yoke you up in me. Y'all, why ain't nobody tell me raising boys? My God, my God. But I love them. I love them so, so much. Their names are Layton and Levi. I think I've mentioned it in previous videos, but to mention it in this one, Layton and Levi. And yeah, that's us. We're the 3 amigos, 3 friends. As it relates to like this transition period, these last 2 years, when I moved in, I had got some travel assignments, so I spent like I'd say the first maybe year, let's just say, in my home traveling. I was traveling, so I didn't really get to settle in and do all the things when I first moved in because I was doing the traveling. So like I said, this year, 2026, the entirety, or at least up until these 8 months, I have been kind of acclimating myself to being in my home and really like feeling it out and seeing the things that I want to do in the future. I'm not doing any. I did when I first moved in. I bought some new things. Like I bought a new stove, a new microwave. I did some flooring. I painted, like some of the basic stuff. Painted my cabinets. I did a few things, but I wasn't gonna do anything huge or major because these kids, the way they like to scaffold stuff and draw on stuff and tear up stuff and jump on stuff, I'm not buying anything nice for them to tear up. That's just not what I'm gonna do. So my house is very it ain't laid. It's very lived in. It's very homely. Nothing flashy or fancy about it. But it's nice now. It's nice. Don't get me wrong now. I ain't it's nice. It's just it ain't frilly and fluffy and all that kind of stuff because my kids they whoo Lord, every time I turn around I'm cleaning up a spill or cleaning up marker crayons, well not crayons, colored pencils, all kinds of stuff. So but yes, this is the year where I'm just kind of like getting settled into our schedule, our routine, and just kind of rooting myself in my home. So, um, to move on from that, I am now in the midst of getting the boys into different activities because, again, there'll be four. So, they're in swim right now. Um, and I want to add another activity. I don't know whether I should do a sport or an instrument. I've been looking into music lessons for them, whether it be music therapy or just actual lessons. I've been looking into that. Levi, my youngest twin, he really loves music. That is his gateway to learning and also his gateway to uh, language. He's more motivated, I guess that's the word, to utilize words when he's singing songs. So I really want to encourage his language as much as possible through music. And he just loves music. He's always hummed songs, always. Even when he can say some words now, and he can definitely sing songs. He can't like two-way communicate with you, but he could definitely say words and sing songs. But even before he was singing songs, he was humming songs. So I figure maybe I get him in piano lessons or something like that. They had music therapy at their ABA clinic, and I could just tell there was a noticeable difference in his engagement and also his language when they were having music therapy. So I was like, yeah, I'll probably get him in music at some point in time. And Layton, he is definitely into words and he loves to read. He loves letters, numbers, counting, things of that nature. So I'm not sure what type of activity to get him into, but he definitely likes, kicking stuff, hitting stuff, typical boy stuff. But I think he would definitely be good at something like, well, not that he needs to be good at it, but I think he would enjoy. How about that? I think he would enjoy like karate or something. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But both of them are in swim right now, and they both enjoy swim. I am definitely going to keep that up. Let that be kind of like a year-round thing because I really do want them to be proficient in swimming. So that is kind of where we are. I am going to wrap things up because, again, like I said, I ain't going to hold y'all too long. But yeah, this is the end of the video. Again, stay tuned for the next one. Next one, we'll probably talk about our autism journey and finding out and all that kind of stuff there. And yeah, I promise you, we are going to have some consistent content. You are going to be hearing from me again. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. Again, if you haven't already done so, go ahead, like the video, subscribe to my channel, hit that notification bell so that you can get the updates when I do upload content, because I will be. And we will chat soon. Bye.